Okay. So again, I want to say thank you so much for all the women who come on every single day, each one as gorgeous and beautiful as the next, expanding our minds and really, anyways. Okay, so Devorah Wolfson. Devorah Wolfson is a parenting consultant and a licensed grief and bereavement counselor. She has been lecturing for over 20 years on issues relating to the power of women. Her life's passion is to educate women as to how much they are capable of and to not be afraid of their koach. So I really am privileged and honored to introduce again, and also who comes in, I think, almost every day since she spoke here, Devorah Wolfson. Thank you, Devorah. Devorah, are you there? Devorah? 1 second. Okay, let me find her. There she is. Devorah, you have to unmute yourself.
What am I supposed to do? I'm good?
Oh, you look gorgeous, Devorah.
Pressure to get up early in the morning and to
listen, Devorah, I have that every morning.
So I'm on. People can see me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so before I start, I just, it's cheap for me to say the Hakaras. I'm going to cry. It's cheap for me to say the Hakaras Hatov that I have for Nomi in this, in just changing the trajectory of my life because of this. Usually when I speak, I'm very excited and I enjoy it. And, you know, it's a tremendous bracha and I like it. I have tremendous butterflies in my stomach this morning because I am so nervous because I'm so humbled by the really, really, really special women that I am privileged to call my new family. And just with the Mizmor Lasoda, Chayla, you need to know that we are all singing it all the time. When I go walking, that's what I'm singing. When I start having a feeling of something either silly or negative, and we all have those things, in order to flip my brain, I sing the Mizmor Lasoda. That's not to take away from all the other beautiful Tehillims that we say together. And I'm so blessed to be part of this. And I thank Hashem and I thank you, Nomi, and Hashem should continue to watch over you and all of us. And I'm very humbled and blown away. So thank you. So I have been trying to come every single morning because it's my new normal. If I can't get on, then I know the rest of my day is not going to be as enlightened and as vivified as it could have been. So to that end, the title of the topic of today is perceptual awareness. Like, can you really ever trust what you see? So I made that very broad. And to that end, what I would really love to do, because this Parak of Tehillim has really, really, really changed many things in my life, because the more you think about a pasuk, the more your neshama is able to pull out the neshama of the pasuk. And the more you think about it, the more you align yourself with it and different thoughts inside of you come up. So with tremendous humility and permission, I would like to discuss in Yonei Elul, in Yonei Rosh Hashanah, in Yonei ourselves, using Mizmor Lasoda as our springboard, okay? So the chapter of Mizmor Lasoda is chapter 100. And the beautiful thing about it being chapter 100 is that it's a remez, it's a hint to the 100 shofar blows that we do on Rosh Hashanah. Now, there is no month in the year that has so many allusions to it as the month of Elul. And why is that? Because every single thing in its beginning, in its inception, you can find the whole entire process. For example, let us take the formation of a baby. So when the cells combine and then they start splitting, if somebody were to be able to do a DNA test at the beginning of the moment when this child is being formed, the whole entire DNA sequence is in that child. You would be able to read if the child was going to be male or female, tall or short, blonde or brunette, what color eyes. We just do not have the tools to extract that information, but it's all in there. Imani kan hakol kan. It's all in there. So it's the same thing with Elul. Elul is traditionally the beginning of the world. This is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. And in the beginning of all this, and end of Elul, beginning of Tishrei, you're going to find the whole entire of humanity. So we're going to look into Mizmar Lasoda, and we're going to see many allusions to Elul and what the avoda is for Elul. Okay, so this parak was usually said in the Beis HaMikdash when they would bring the Korban Toda. Now, what was the Korban Toda? The Korban Toda was a sacrifice that was brought in order to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for either something really astonishingly fantastic that happened to you, or if you survived something that was potentially extremely dangerous. Now, interestingly enough, David HaMelech did not write this parak. This parak is written by Moshe Rabbeinu. However, David HaMelech is the one that compiled all of the different Tehillims, all of the different Psalms that were written by other authors, and he's the one that collated it, and he's the one that combined this. Now, when Mashiach comes in Eretz Hashem Bimheira, very quickly, a lot of the korbanos are not going to be necessary anymore. They're going to be null and void. It's brought down that the one korban that will remain a constant is going to be the korban toda. The first korban that was ever brought in the world was a korban toda, which was brought by Cain. The story didn't really work out so well, but the concept of being moda, the concept of recognizing and thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for things, is only going to grow stronger in the times of Mashiach. And why is that? So let's talk about perceptual awareness for a moment. What you believe is how you live. What you think you believe in your mind, what you see in your life, is how you live your life. Why are Jewish people called Yehudim? Now, we can say that we're called Yehudim from the word Judah because the 10 tribes got lost and only Yehuda and Binyamin remained. And some other Shvatim in there when Sancheiriv mixed everyone around. However, nothing in Judaism, nothing in Yiddishkeit is just arbitrary because it was easy. So we know that the Imahos named all their children. And each child had a specific feeling and reason why they were named that way. And they were named with Ruach HaKodesh, not just for that child, but for the character traits and the characteristics that would flow from those 12 boys. Now, when Yehuda was named, Leah said, Hapam odes Hashem. Now I'm going to thank Hashem. And the Gemara tells us that nobody in the world ever thanked Hashem before Leah. So we have a question. I remember learning that Adam HaRishon thanked Hashem. I remember Avram thanking Hashem. Noah came out of the Teva. He thanked Hashem. So what does it mean when it says that no one thanked Hashem up until Leah? So when I learned this idea, it changed my whole entire perception of what gratitude means. So we know that Yaakov married 4 women, and they instinctively and intrinsically knew that there would be 12 boys coming from those 4 women. We're going to talk about Dina at the close of the class. So those 4 women, they did the math. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So each woman knew that they were supposed to have 3 boys and thus create the beginning of Klal Yisrael. Well, Leah has Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Okay, so now she thinks she's done. And all of a sudden she has Yehuda, boy number 4. And when she had Yehuda, she sat back a minute and she said, wait a minute. If I have a 4th son, that means one of the other women are going to have less than the 3 that we thought we were going to have. And then Leah sat back and Lemafreya, backwards, she realized, wait a minute. I took for granted even the 3 I was supposed to have. So when she named Yehuda, Hapam odes Hashem, now I'm going to thank Hashem. She wasn't just thanking Hashem for Yehuda. She was going backwards and she was rethanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything she had already gotten. We are called Yehudim. We must live with an attitude of gratitude. Life is meaningless if we do not put meaning into every single thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us. And to remind us, Hashem tells us to make brachos. And to remind us, Hashem calls us Yehudim. Even in the secular world, we're called Jews. It comes from the word Yehudim. So the only korban that is going to be brought in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, Shemer Hashem, when Mashiach comes, is going to be the korban Todah. So let's very, very, very excitingly and with tremendous passion look into the parak. Mizmor L'Soda, Hariu L'Adonai Kol Haaretz. This is called a song of thanksgiving. Call out to Hashem, all of you who are on the earth. Now, let's talk a little bit about the word Todah. What does it mean? So, when there's a word in Lashon HaKodesh that has multiple meanings, it means that all the meanings are interconnected with each other. So, number one, in the times of Mashiach, and even in the times of today, because girls, I'm going to tell everyone a little secret. Geula is a state of mind. It's a state of being. Every single person in their life can choose to either live in galus, in restriction, in Mitzrayim, or live with expansion and live with Geula. For many people, they can live in a state that Mashiach has already come personally for them. And when everyone experiences that individually, then in a global national way, Mashiach then comes in its manifestation. In the times of Mashiach, we're only going to have to give thanks to Hashem. Why? Because everything is going to be amazing. I have a secret to tell you. Isn't it amazing now? Even with, and all of us have things we're going through. All of us have pain. All of us have things that can point to that are traumatic and tragic for them. But at the same token, even while having that trauma, all of us have things to be thankful for. And just personally for me, I found for myself, the more I concentrate on that which I'm thankful for, the more I find things to be thankful for. For example, did you ever need a new pair of glasses? So you're noticing everyone's glasses because you're in the market for new glasses or anything else new that you would like to buy. It's the same thing with gratitude. If you are in the market to look for more gratitude, you will find more things to be grateful for. A person is drawn after his ratzon. A person is schlepped according to what he wants. If you want to see more good, if you want to have more reasons to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem will show you and shower you with it. The second concept of the word Todah means to acknowledge. So it goes hand in hand. What is gratitude? When you acknowledge that someone did something good for you. The word Hodah also comes from the word to be modeh, to confess. Now, why is it so hard to sometimes say thank you? Really, really say thank you. Because Hashem created us as independent beings. And as independent beings, we don't like to feel beholden to something. But the more we recognize the gratitude, the easier it is to do that. Now it says Hariu. Hariu la Hashem kol haaretz. If you take the beginning letters of the word Hariu, Hey for Hariu, Lamid la Hashem, Chaf for Chol, and Haaretz for Hey, it spells out the word halacha. Halacha means law. To be grateful has to be the way of life that you live. It has to be the law. It's not something lifnim mishur sadin. It's not something above and beyond the call of duty to be a person of gratitude. It's halacha. It's just pashut. It's just the way Hashem set up the universe. Now this pasuk, the next pasuk, is the one pasuk that I always struggled with, that honestly caused me a lot of guilt and a lot of anxiety until I worked through it. So here's the pasuk. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha, ba'u lefanav birnana. Serve Hashem with gladness, with joy. Come before Hashem with joyous song. So what was my challenge with this pasuk? Okay, I understand that I have to be a good Jew. I understand that I have to serve you, Hashem, because I owe you so much, and the whole entire concept of punishment and din, I'll do it. But you want me to be happy when I do it? How's that fair? Hashem, you can't mandate for me to be happy. You want me to do what I have to do, but why do I have to be happy? How's that fair? Imagine you tell your child to go clean their room. So what's the part that's important? That they clean their room, or that they're singing a song like in a Disney movie while they're cleaning their room? So for me, just clean your room. The expectation to have my child sing and be happy that I'm telling them to clean their room, I don't really think that that's an expectation that's so fair. But if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha, serve me with joy, that means that that has to be the baseline. So I was trying to think about, why is it so important to serve Hashem with joy? So number one, we can say, because when you do something with joy, you're going to want to do it again. For example, I have never had a bad experience that was awful, and then I said to myself, wow, that was so bad, I want to do it again. Doesn't happen. But if I have an experience that's amazing and I'm enjoying it, I want to do it again. So I thought to myself, perhaps that's the nakuda. Perhaps that's the thought that I should have, that if I'm doing it with joy, maybe it'll propel me to do more. But that felt a little bit cheap for me. So I thought about it a little bit deeper. And I asked myself, what is the one thing that is the most important thing in any relationship in order for the relationship to sustain itself, to have a kiyum, and to grow? And I realized that there are two components to any relationship that are vital and necessary, that go hand in hand. And with that, it keeps you in the relationship. But more than that, it keeps you building on the relationship. And that's the aspect of joy and gratitude. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you don't appreciate them, or if you're in a relationship with someone and you're not happy in the relationship, well, the relationship is already not cohesive. There's no kesher. But if I'm in a relationship with someone, I truly, truly enjoy their company. I love them. They make me happy. But deeper than that, I want to make them happy. In Judaism, we have a very, very, very different idea of love. I remember growing up, we had like these pop songs because, you know, the songs always tell you what the generation is all about love. So there was one song that was by a famous singer, and the song was called, What Have You Done For Me Lately? Right? And the song is all about, oh, you tell me you love me. What have you done for me lately? And that was the mantra of the 80s and 90s. If you love me, prove me, show me, tell me. And I'm waiting to receive all that love. But I'm going to sit back passively because what have you done for me lately? Reb Dessler explains that love, according to Judaism, according to Yiddishkeit, according to Torah values, means ahava. What's the shorish of ahava? Ahava means to give. If you want to be in a relationship and you want to love the person that you're with, and you're having an off day, the quickest way to reconnect to someone you love is not to give, not to have them give to you, but you do things to give to them. It could be little things, little things. Imagine, and the giving is private, that only you know. You can't make the announcement to the person. For example, let's say you're making a coffee for yourself and for your spouse, or yourself and your parent, or yourself. For yourself, while you're making the coffee, make their coffee first. It's a small thing. Make their coffee first before you make your coffee. You're doing it at the same time. Make their coffee first. You know why? Because the Torah tells us that act of giving of yourself, of doing, It's going to make you fall in love with that person even more. Love does not come from the person giving to you. Love grows by you giving to the person. So, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha, worship Hashem with joy. The word Ivdu is where we get stuck, because Ivdu is Eved, but that's not what it means. It means be in a relationship with Hashem when you're happy. When you're with somebody and you know that person wants to be with you, it changes the whole entire mood. You ever been on a bad date? Or you've ever been on a date with someone that you thought it was going well, and the person, my kids are in shidduchim, and the person afterwards says, I didn't have a good time. When there's joy in the company, then you want to stay in the relationship. So it means everything. So yes, when I ask my child to do something and they go, fine, they're missing the point. But if the relationship is healthy enough and I ask my children to do something and they say, sure, mommy, I would love to do that for you. Amen, it should happen. So that makes the relationship that much stronger and that much more real. So let's talk about sacrifice within a relationship. Every single relationship takes sacrifice. Even a relationship with a Kadosh Baruch Hu takes sacrifice. I can't eat whatever I want. I can't do whatever I want. Why? Because I'm in a relationship with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But sacrificing something willingly, Mesiras Nefesh doesn't mean doing it begrudgingly. Okay, you get schar for that also. But doing it because you're happy to do it. When somebody wakes up in the middle of the night to take care of a new baby, even if they're exhausted, even if they're tired, they do it with a certain joy because they are in love with this baby. So why in the world would I want to have something that wakes me up in the middle of the night? It costs so much money, depletes my energy, my bank account. I'm busy with it all day because I love my child. Why would I want to keep Shabbos for 25 hours, only eat certain kind of foods? Because I love Hashem. And I want to do it. So when you sacrifice begrudgingly, you may get schar for it, but to do it with joy, the reward is the relationship. You don't need a reward after that. When the Gemara tells us schar mitzvah mitzvah, what does it mean? The reward of connecting, the word mitzvah, letzaveh, means to connect to Hashem. The reward of connecting to Hashem is connecting to Hashem. That's the reward. I don't need anything else. When I'm in a beautiful relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, it's good enough for me. It doesn't. So that's Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Now, interestingly enough, the Ramchal says as follows. What if I don't feel happy? What if I'm in a relationship with Hashem and I don't feel the joy? What do I have to do? So the Ramchal tells us something really beautiful. External movements of joy elicit inner feelings of joy. The chitonius is mashpi al apnimius. Sometimes in life we cannot wait for the inner inspiration. Sometimes you have to sort of like charge the battery, right? Let's say the battery in the car dies. You need an outside source to charge up the battery because the car is not self-charging. So instead of sitting and bemoaning the fact I don't feel joy in my avodas Hashem, fake it. Spark it from the outside. Do things that elicit joy. Sing Mizmor L'Soda. Okay, you could also eat the chocolate at the same time also. It's not, you could do both. You could eat the chocolate and sing Mizmor L'Soda. Another tool is that use your imagination. Use your imagination. Imagine what it feels like to feel that joy. That's why we learn stories of our tzaddikim, to inspire us, because that gives us joy. Another very, very, very fabulous tool to use with joy is something that I call emotional recall, okay? The way emotional recall works as follows. The next time any of us have a moment where we're at peace and we're connected, grab a picture of that moment. I think that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created these iPhones and these phones that could just take selfies. Take an internal selfie of how you feel at a really, really happy moment. And remember that feeling. And in the times where you're not, go back to that picture in your mind, in your emotional mental recall, go back and bring yourself to that joy. It says about Sari Imenu that when she was nifter, it says she was 127 years old. And it says, Kulam Shavim Latova, all her years were equally good. What? How can she say all her years were equally good? Maybe from the years 90 to 127, she was happy she had a child. But first, she's childless. She has to leave her country. And it wasn't like today when you relocate, which it's hard today. But when somebody relocated, they never saw their family again. She schlepped her brother with her because she was responsible because her father died in the Kivshana Eish. She got kidnapped and almost raped by 2 kings. Hagar came, she fought with her. All of her days were equally. Her son was 37 and not married, and she never lived to be Zaycha to see Rivka Imenu, her daughter-in-law. All her years were equally good? She was happy? How's that possible? So there's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful secret to happiness that women, and Sari Imenu has taught us. Never say, I'll be happy when. Always work on, I am happy now. What is simcha? Simcha is asking yourself, is there anywhere else in the world I would like to be other than in this moment? And I'm not talking about saying you want to go to Eretz Yisrael. I mean existentially, right here, right now. Make yourself happy. Grow where you're planted. That's the secret of simcha. The secret of simcha is not trying to run there. It's being right here, right now. There's a Hasidic thought, and I've used it many times. It's simcha poretz geder. Joy breaks all boundaries. There's been times where I've had difficulties. I was really, really, really struggling, and I would actually burst into song, not feeling it. And then all of a sudden it came to me. I felt better. I felt inspired, and I was able to figure a way out of my predicament. Pasuk Gimel. De'u ki Hashem hu Elokim, hu asanu v'lo anachnu amo v'tzon mariso. So the pasuk means, do you know who Hashem is? It is He who made us, and we are His. Or it is He who made us and not us. If you look inside the Tehillim, there's something called a Kri Uksiv, and this is a beautiful allusion to Elo. There's a Kri and a Ksiv. The Kri is Velo Anachnu with an Aleph, but it's Velo with a Vav, which means we are His and we did not make ourselves. Now, obviously, we know we didn't make ourselves. So what does it mean we didn't make ourselves? Any credit that we feel for ourselves, if you attach it to Hashem, you'll be even greater. It says about Yosef HaTzadik, he was a Ish Mutzlach, he was a successful man. And Rashi tells us, why was he successful? Shem Hashem Shagur Alpiv. Because all day he said, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem, Chazdei Hashem, Yishtabach Shemo. When he came out of jail and Paro was asking him to interpret the dream, Paro says, you're amazing. Look in the pasuk. Yosef says, Baruch Hashem. No, Paro says, you're so smart. And Yosef says, Chazdei Hashem. And Paro got frustrated because Paro was trying to give credit to Yosef. Why? If a person takes credit personally, then he limits himself to finite rules of physics. But if the success is a Kadosh Baruch Hu's, you're infinite. So saying Chazdei Hashem and Baruch Hashem all the time, that's what makes you even more matzliach. But look, this is so beautiful. Look at the illusion. Velo, Lamed Aleph, and Lo, Lamed Vav, those letters together spell out the month of Elul. And that is the deeper Kabbalistic meanings. De'u ki Hashem, know Hashem. The word Deya always connotates an intimate relationship. When it talks about a husband and wife relationship in the Torah, it says Vayeda Adam es Chava, and Adam knew Chava. And Rashi tells us that means he was intimate with her. What is an intimate relationship? An intimate relationship is where you can make yourself your most vulnerable, and the person is not going to drop you, and the person is not going to hurt you. The relationship that is the hardest to make yourself vulnerable with is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we're going to see why it's hard to make yourself vulnerable with Hashem. Pasuk Daled. Ba'u sharav b'soda, chatzerosav b'tehila, hodu lo baruch hu shemo. Enter HaKadosh Baruch Hu's gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise, and give thanks to him and bless his name. Now, if you take the beginnings of the words, ba'u, beis, sha'arav, shin, beis, besoda, chatzerosav, ches, you have the word b'shevach. Again, over and over and over again. You want to be happy? Praise Hashem. You want to be happy? Thank Hashem. You want to be happy? Come with joy. We're going to end with this thought. Pasuk Hey. Ki tov Hashem le'olam chazdo v'ador v'ador emuno so. For Hashem is good. His kindness endures forever. And from generation to generation is his faithfulness. Let's look at the word le'olam. The word le'olam means world. But the etymology of the word le'olam means helem, hidden. Why is it so hard to be in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and make yourself vulnerable? Because Hashem is hidden. Can't always see him. But it says, Hakol bidei shamayim, everything is in the hands of heaven, chutz mi yira shamayim, except yira shamayim. So I was always bothered by this because, okay, I understand Hashem takes care of everything except for me fearing him. Oh, I have so much pressure because I'm not feeling the fear, but that's the only thing that I have to work on. Until I read a pshat that changed my life, and then with this, we're going to end. Yirat Shamayim doesn't mean fear of heaven. Because what does fear of heaven even mean? And we're just talking about being in a relationship based on love. If it's based on fear, then some people are allergic to fear. Everything is in the hands of heavens except for Yirat Shamayim. The word Yirah doesn't just only mean fear. It means to see. Ro'eh means to see. Everything is in the hands of heaven except if you see heaven. Hashem cannot control if you recognize him in your life. That Hashem gives you to do. And that's the only avodah we have. The only avodah we have, because it says, Hakol bidei shamayim, Hashem takes care of everything. Except for what? Will you see Hashem in your life or not? And Elul is the time where Hashem makes it easy for us because it says, HaMelech B'Sadeh. The king is in the field. And as we learned this week, it's a field of roses. But are you going to see him? Are you going to see him? I wish all of us a beautiful, dahaibin, uplifted, gorgeous, gorgeous Shabbos. I am humbled and grateful for the amount of growth that I now know I have to work on myself based on all you beautiful women. And I give us a bracha. It's that simple. I give us a bracha that we should all see HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our life. He's there. He's there. We should all see it openly. Begiloi, the piece about Dina. Okay, so here's the piece about Dina. Thank you. I firmly, 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 firmly believe that when Leah davened to switch the baby from Yosef to become Dina, and then Rachel had Yosef, she davened very hard that Dina should be a girl because she didn't want her sister to have less than her. So the child that was born was Dina. And this always makes me cry, and this is my hope for us as women. Dina was mevater so much in her life. And one day, if I have a zechus and I'm zoicha, I would love, love, love to discuss the story of Dina, because her mesiras nefesh, which is the mesiras nefesh of all women, is unquantifiable. My hope and my bracha is, there's one tribe. We were talking this week about the 13-petaled rose. I'm actually crying. The 13-petaled rose and the Yud Gimel Midos. There are 12 Shvatim. The one Shevet that is missing, that we have to bring back, is the Shevet of Dina. And I truly, truly, truly believe, that by us doing this and by us coming together, giving each other chizuk, being there for each other, This is like the most spiritual therapy that any of us can do. And this is so needed. Through us together, I truly believe that we can build the tribe of Dina. And when the tribe of Dina is really strong, we will all come with our tambourines and we will all be singing Mizmor L'Soda, B'Vias HaMashiach B'Mhera B'Yameinu. Amen. I'm sorry, I'm crying. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Shabbos, and thank you